scrap what we were going to say. What I'm going to do is give you 3 minutes of my life story, particularly beginning about 40 years ago. I grew up in Bedford, Massachusetts.
Sound, please.
Sound,
Just hold it closer to your mouth.
I grew up in New Bedford, Massachusetts, well known for Moby Dick and other whalers. But when I married, I moved to New York, and I lived first in a house. But within several years, my husband moved his office to Manhattan and wanted to move us to Manhattan, which he did. And we happened to take an apartment that had a substantial terrace. It might have been, 2/3 of that section of the room. And my husband's great passion was flowers and plants, particularly ones that he grew. And I did realize that I would have an opportunity to do something I really wanted to do. I could build a sukkah. I don't know how many people in this room know what a sukkah is. It's a tent, a hut, which is built by Jews every fall during the season. And it's kind of attractive, and you eat in it every day if you can manage being outside. So we did that, and we did eat with a few friends and other people the first year, and that means that's 7 nights or 8 occasionally. And then I got a couple of boxes, presents, in the apartment house I lived in. My apartment had a terrace, but they were periodical there, however that means. And they didn't have signatures, these gifts I got. I got a big box of fruit, and I got something else. And I asked around, and finally, the man who lived upstairs from me, who did not have a terrace, he saw me asking questions of my doorman. He said, okay, I sent it to you. I looked down, and there were these gorgeous plants and these gorgeous things, and I thought I should contribute. And he did that every year for many, many years. That became, almost in the middle of Manhattan, a custom of warmth and greeting. And I wasn't sure that the middle of Manhattan was the place to be. We grew up on Cape Cod. But I met another man who said, he said, I sent you a box. He lived across the way. He had nothing but a garden. He said, I get the pleasure of seeing whatever that is. He didn't know what a sukkah was, but more importantly, he saw my husband out there every day with plants and gardening, and it became a custom for us. And it did several things for the personal life of myself, my family, and my friends. We had friends of many religious traditions, including a young Pakistani boy who first came to go to school in our city and whose father died, and he stayed with us the rest of our lives. But most important was that I had many opportunities. But a woman saw me 20 years after we were building the sukkah. We were still doing it. And she said, oh, I know who you are. I'm looking, I don't know who she is. I said, you live in my building? No, she says, I live a building and a half down. But I can see your terrace. And I know who you are because I also know what you look like because you belong to the same synagogue I do. I mean, the way this worked told me that just living a decent life and trying hard, and even occasionally having to apologize when I didn't do it well, made a big difference in my life. And so as I saw us coming to the end of this session here, and many of the things I might have said or done, Bonnie and I are on several committees at the UN together, I thought it might be good for us to go home thinking there are things we can do personally, individually, and keep at it. And I'd be glad to give you instructions for my husband's plants. I never planted anything. I only cooked.